sometimes certain things get so big that you almost. God damn. I quit though. I quit.
That was crazy.
No, that was crazy.
That was crazy, bro. What are you talking about? This is a talk show. We have a live audience, and you wilding in here, bro.
Listen.
I'll smack his cheek off in the bathroom. What? 1 second.
Smacked his cheek too.
No, I'm telling you, I gave him that fire. Boom. Then he tried to act up outside. I finished it off outside and really pounded him out. Legend. You know what I'm saying?
Look at his body. He's just a ball of tense muscle just exploding on your face.
Your DJ gig, your spin game is crazy. You spinning this.
No, my head game is crazy. Like you are.
Pause that.
Hey,
That's crazy.
He make you feel way bigger than you are. Pause. He make you feel huge, man. Kanye West, he the one.
What? Don't be stuck riding around all day with her in traffic, stuck figuring out where you're gonna go, what kind of dates you're gonna go on. Bro, don't get stuck in that. Have the date already lined up before you even pick her up. So when you hop in the whip and y'all driving, you know where you're going. You already got it planned. You know where you taking the girl, what date you taking her on. Listen, you know what you're doing after. You making that transition. She gonna roll right with it.
A lot of these men have realized that, unfortunately, for a lot of these modern women, it might seem like opting out is the best choice. Because when you look at how much stress you have to go through, modern women being inconsistent, just those two alone will have you saying, or, you know, kind of reconsidering and saying, well, maybe this is not the journey for me right now. Maybe I need to go build myself up. Maybe I need to focus on myself. Maybe I need to put a little bit more into who I am.
I'm Kylie. I don't know why this is a hot take, but I truly believe that women are meant to be leaders. And history, research, and biology back this up. First of all, a study conducted by the Harvard Business Review found that in 17 out of 19 cases, women outperform men, especially on key leadership skills like collaboration. And companies with more women in leadership positions report higher profits and greater innovation. And don't forget the obvious of women giving birth. I believe the ability to create life as well as the socialization of women to be empathetic makes us great leaders. So there's a socialization component as well. Don't forget, there have been thriving matriarchal societies in places like Indonesia, China, and other African countries. Tribes with women in charge often have more balanced communities and stronger community ties. I'm not saying that men can't be leaders. I genuinely just think that women are better suited for it. Even today, in a lot of countries where women are in leadership positions, these citizens are happier. You need to stop putting women into this subservient role and actually let us do what we should be doing, which is leading people and building societies for a better world.
I think children need to be led. I think pets need to be led. Women are adults. If you are a man who's chosen to be in a relationship with another adult, you guys are partners. Nobody needs to lead anybody. I think whoever is the best at a certain thing should probably be in charge of that thing. If my girl is an accountant and she went to school for like business and she's super duper good with finances, should I lead, quote unquote, in finances just because I have I don't think tasks should be assigned to us based on genitals. I think tasks should be assigned to us based on who is the most qualified and who does that task the most proficiently. Because we clearly have people that don't adhere to all of the set gender roles that society has for us. And instead of saying, hey, like, what works for us? People just go, well, neither of us are following the rules to a T. Then things go to moral of the story. Nobody needs to lead. You're two adults and your partners. Go off of whoever is best at doing a thing.
You know, men have decided it's easier to take a step back it's easier to opt out rather than trying to hop into confusion, rather than trying to force my way into a situation that, quite frankly, doesn't seem advantageous to me. It doesn't seem like it's going to go well. So I'm not going to sit up there and continue to be like, oh man, I got to get her. No, I don't. The alternative with me forcing myself into this space is I have somebody acting crazy with me, and I don't have time for that.
So I asked my husband what type of woman he would remarry if I died, and he said, I'm not getting remarried. And I said, well, who's going to take care of the kids and the house because you don't cook or clean? And he said, if you I get well over $1 million, I will just hire a maid, and the kids don't really need to be looked after at this point. They're old enough to take care of themselves. And I said, well, don't you think you'll get lonely? And he said, I won't be lonely. I'll have well over $1 million and I can just purchase escorts. I said, I'm sorry, what? And he said, I'm not getting remarried. I will just pay for escorts and a maid. I'll pay for a maid because I'm not going to clean the house. I said, oh, okay. And he goes, my only real concern is to make sure that I continue to make enough money to pay for escorts and a maid.
And you know, modern women they're asking, how come good men kind of stop engaging with them, right? But you have to understand that, you know, the kind of man you say you want. So the kind of man, well, I want a man like this, and this. And the man comes up in front of you, and you let the man go, right? And you let Chad and Tyrone play in your face. And then a couple of days later, you want the good man to show up and rescue you. You want the good man to be a shoulder to cry on. What? Oh, well, you should allow me to do that in each and every situation. No, I'm a good guy. I'm not a doormat.
No, I get lonely quite often. I know I look like I'm always having fun, but I do. Today would have been my 4-year wedding anniversary, and I got my divorce decree 3 days ago. And I just remembered at lunchtime that it was my 4-year anniversary, or it would have been. And it's such a weird thing because, like, when I woke up this morning, I live alone, and I have no neighbors, and, you know, I get lonely quite often. I know I look like I'm always having fun, but I do. I own my own business, and I do it from my house, so I'm always alone. And, I was thinking all day today, I was like, it's just not natural to be alone at like 32 with no kids. Like, this was not how it was supposed to be. And then I remembered, I was like, wow, I would have been married 4 years today. And it's crazy because I have no children. My whole life got flipped upside down. I'm literally having to restart my whole life. And like, what are the odds that I never drive by my old apartment that me and my husband lived in, like when we first got married. I drove by it today and it made me feel weird. I know a lot of people are like, you're not over your ex. It's like, no, I'm very much so over him. I'm healing because it's painful to start over. It's painful. It's hard. It is not, this is the hardest thing I've ever been through because, you know, I loved him with everything in me. And now it's like, okay, well, you don't love him anymore and you're not, you know, you're just by yourself. So anyways, random thought. I gotta drive, but yeah.
Now, what I just heard, blah, 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 blah.
I think y'all too grown to be fumbling good people. The fact that y'all still think that the grass is greener on the other side is crazy. Haven't you went through enough already? Like, haven't you been served the wrong hand when it came to dating? Like, don't you think that you have been through enough already? So why is it when you finally get you a good person, you're constantly always looking for other options? Other options? There are many options, but none of them are good. Take care of what you got going on, because you're over here looking at options when there's people who are ready for the next step, looking at your girl, looking at your man like, that woman deserves to be a wife. That man needs a woman to talk life into him. Instead, y'all just sitting here being selfish, fumbling good people.
You know, you have a lot of steady guys, a lot of regular guys, a lot of average guys out here that are continuing to get overlooked because you would prefer, and it's like I talked about in some other commentary, you want a guy that's chaotic, that's up and down. You want a guy that, and you know, I'm laughing about it, but I'm not really joking. You want a guy to beat you upside the head. A guy that you got to run out the house 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, run down the street, beat down your neighbor's door. That's the type of guy that you got to call the freaking police to get that man up out of there. Got to take that man to jail. He's a criminal. He's a criminal. And that's the type of stuff these modern women want.
You've been having me out here paying for everything you've been broke, and what you're not about to do, I don't care. What you're not about to do is this with me. Because me, out of all people in this world, I've been here for your broke ass. You haven't had shit.
I'm telling you stop. I'm telling you stop. Hey, y'all want to know what she's finna go do?
I will never do.
Y'all want to know what she's finna go do?
She about to go see right now, y'all. I took his ID because he had my phone and was refusing to give me my phone. Okay. Don't take my phone from me. Like I took his wallet because you had my phone.
Don't talk to him. Just talk to him. After you threw a drink in my face and in the back of the head. If you just wait. It's on the camera. I hate when females lie to the police.
I don't need to lie about anything.
Hang on, don't talk to him. Talk to me. Did you in my head? Don't talk to him. Talk to me.
Yeah, I did. I can send you to jail right now.
No, you just admitted that you me. Just sit down. You just admitted that you in the back of my head. Hey, just sit down. Press the charges. You just tried me, bro. You sat here and tried me and just tried to lie on me. I ain't never put my hands on you. I put my hands on you when you just ran right there on the camera and took the fucking wallet out of my car. It's everywhere.
We do have to arrest
you. It was 5 people out here.
Huh?
We do have to arrest you for
that. It's the truth.
You took my phone, sir. I was just trying to. Okay, can you please go check the camera? Because I was just trying to chase him out here, grabbing my phone.
After you put it in the back of my fucking head, you admitted to it to him. You told him.
Because we were out here.
No, you put me in the car.
Sorry.
I just heard someone say, women don't choose bad men. Men hide who they are until they're comfortable.
Oh, I bet you heard that, because some women have selective hearing. Here, I'll do exactly what you did. Women don't hear facts. They hear what they want to hear. Now, obviously not all women, but genuinely, if a man came up on this app and was like, yo, dude, men don't actually choose crazy women. No. Women hide their crazy until it's too late. You'd be like, dude, that's cope. Choose better. Learn to read the signals. In hindsight, like first time you are with a crazy woman, by the way, you don't realize it until it's too late. That I'll grant you. But there is signs leading up to it. That's what hindsight's 20/20. So the next time you're on the first and second and third date, you will recognize those signs. Let's not disable our women, right? Give accountability back to these women. I'm begging you. Like she really thought she ate, bro. All you're doing is you're acting like women are children. Like they're not responsible for anything that happens to them ever. And that is literally insulting to a grown adult. And I'll be honest with you, bro, the internet's tired of it.
And so I have a question. I know, like, we've came really far with the women's right to vote and everything, women's rights. We'll go backwards sometimes, we'll go forwards. But my question is, why aren't we trying to take away men's right to vote?
Really? Well, it seems that some women out there actually think that it's a good idea to start taking rights away from men. And what exactly makes some of you think that that's a good idea, or for that matter, even remotely feasible? Because as many are going to ask, who exactly is going to enforce that, I wonder? But I would like to point out that this essentially means that for some women in this world, the cycle of oppression has about come full circle. And for those who are not familiar with what the cycle of oppression is, it is essentially when the oppressed have come far enough to where they are in a position to become the oppressors themselves. Isn't that a bit ironic that some women out there would actually want to take human rights away from an entire group of people simply because they're different from them? Now, how does that make you different from the men of the past?
I don't think men understand how successful they would be if they just took a girl out to dinner.
I get so much for not giving men a chance. But it's like, well, you ain't offered to go to dinner. You offered for me to come to your house at 10 o'clock. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go do that. I'm not gonna do that. But like the 90% of the time, if you ask me to dinner, I'm gonna go to that dinner. I can't promise I'm gonna go to another one. If it sucks, it sucks. Like if we just, not that you suck, but like if we just are, if it sucks. But if you ask me to dinner, I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna do it.
A woman asked me, why do men come in intense and then slowly fade out? And the truth is a little uncomfortable. In the beginning, you're being observed, not just liked. He's paying attention to how you move, how available you are, and how quickly you attach. Because early on, men don't just chase, they evaluate. Once he realizes she's not going anywhere, that's when that urgency disappears. Not the attraction, the urgency. And a lot of women get the two confused. You think he lost interest. No, he lost the pressure to keep showing up at that level. Because now he knows he has access. You'll be there. You'll respond. Because now he knows that he doesn't have to do much to keep you around. And once a man feels secure in your presence, he starts revealing his baseline effort. Not the version of him that was trying to impress you, but the version that's comfortable keeping you. It feels like a switch up now, but really, you just got introduced to the real version of him. So the real question isn't why did he change? It's why am I still accepting a version of him that doesn't match the one that showed up in the beginning? Peace and love. Like and follow.
Why are so many men refusing to get married? This is an interesting question, and I don't know if men actually are refusing to get married or not, but it could be a few things. It could be that there's misconceptions about what marriage is. We hear a lot about who benefits from marriage. Is there a benefit to marriage? We hear a lot about men who are taken advantage of in the divorce process or feel like they lost something. I also think there's this mindset where you're with someone, but you're wondering if something better is out there. So why would you commit to marriage if you're worried you're gonna miss out on something better? What I would say to women in that situation is if your partner doesn't wanna marry you and you wanna get married, leave, break up. That's gonna end with you guys breaking up anyway. And if you're a single man who never wants to get married, let us know why. We're really curious.
So I was talking to a male friend of mine the other day, and he told me that women don't apologize and women can't be held accountable. And I began to really think deeply about this idea. And one of the things that came across my mind is in the last 9 months or so of me being in my private practice, I have myself experienced many women, whether they came in as a couple or they came by themselves, they very abruptly discontinued their therapy. And I started to reflect and really think, what was going on here? And I noticed that after I had to confront them about something, I had to bring to their attention something they were doing that wasn't contributing to the health of the relationship, they became very defensive and very, just very harsh, and they stopped coming. And even though the husband would continue to come, he made it very clear that, yeah, she won't apologize. She thinks you're wrong. She thinks you're taking my side. And I began to really reflect like, oh my gosh, is it true that women don't apologize? Is it that women struggle with being held accountable? I'd love your thoughts on this. Me personally, I think it has to do with a person's level of emotional maturity. What do you think?
I've got to stop acting and pretending like all gender roles cause the same amount of material harm in the real world. Whenever I talk about that I like men who pay for things, I'm not making anyone pay. I'm talking about men who like to pay for things. Everyone's like, that's a gender role and you hate gender roles. That is a gender role. Is that comparable to me not having a job and being expected to cook and clean and not having my own autonomy as a human person? No. Those are not comparable things. So many men who never think about gender roles at all, ever, all of a sudden start becoming the wokest person you know, biggest feminist this side of the Mississippi the moment you talk about them paying. Very disingenuous. I don't think you guys care one hoot about gender roles. You care about protecting your wallet because you can't afford to date. Ooh! Sorry for dogging on you for being broke. Broke people deserve love, broke people deserve to date. And if you don't want to pay, you don't have to. No one is making you. I'm not making you. There's no shortage of women
who don't want a man to pay for them, who like 50-50. Go find those women. They're out there. There's a lot of them out there. I am not one of them, and you and I are not dating. So I don't understand why this bothers you. I hot take, the real reason I think men get so bothered when you talk about them paying is because they view any investment on their part as a transaction for sex. They don't know that they'll get sex and they're not getting a return on their investment, therefore they don't want to pay. I would just literally never date a man like that. Ew.
I don't expect anyone to live outside their means. No one should be living outside their means. Women who date men who live outside their means.
No, Cheryl, I feel everything you're saying, but once you get into a real relationship, once you get into a deep relationship and we've discussed finances where we at, if I'm taking you out, at some point it will just be nice and generous if you give joyfully and say, hey, I'd like to take you someplace you like. It can't be just one-sided 100%, especially if you know we're not rich.
Why would you? The thing is, if we have financial discussions and we've come to clarity, financial discussions is discussions. We have a place.
That's a fact.
I know what a violation is, right? So if were those shoes a violation, what account?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But if I've been taking you out and being generous on you, you don't think you should turn around and then be somewhat generous in some way, shape, or form, whether it's cooking a meal, taking me out, or sewing me a new sweater?
How did you fall in love with a woman who's not generous, brother? How did you get married to a woman?
He's asking you, Cheryl.
I'm asking you.
How did that happen?
That's what I'm asking you.
It wouldn't happen to me.
No, but you said you wouldn't pay for anything. So I'm like,
no.
So at some point, aren't you going to be generous if a dude is being generous to you?
So let me clarify for the people who only saw this episode. I'm amazing, right?
And so
I bring a lot into somebody's life.
No, but that's not what we're asking. I'm asking, are you ever generous? Or do you think there's a time for a woman to be generous?
What I invest, I'm never trying to match my man on money.
That's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm asking. I said, when and if are you generous to your other counterpart?
That's not why they dated me. But what I bring, they do not bring. With the charm that I bring.
What, are you talking about P-power?
No, listen.
Because of course they can't bring that.
Listen, I'm the kind of woman and this has happened more than once, you bring me into a party with your boss, promotion's coming. Dinner at your boss's house is coming. I cook well. And when I was in a relationship, I had a pole at home. I feel
so that's your form of generosity.
I'm sorry. Did I hear that right? I did hear that. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I heard that right.
Y'all be judging people who overcame situations that would have broke you. And that's the part that always gets me. You got an opinion about how they talk, how they move, how they respond, how they carry themselves. But you couldn't survive what they survived. You would have folded. You would have quit. You would have needed therapy, a break, or a support group. Meanwhile, they're still standing. That's why I learned to stop judging people's scars when I don't know their story. Because some people aren't difficult. Some people had to become strong. Some people aren't guarded. They just learn the hard way that everybody doesn't have good intentions. You see, some people aren't obsessed with success. They know what it's like to have nothing. It's easy to judge somebody when you're looking at the outcome. The harder thing is asking yourself what they had to endure to become that person. So before you criticize someone's strength, ask yourself if you could have survived the storm that built it. Because a lot of people y'all look down on are living proof that God brought them through something that would have took you out.
For casual, uncommitted, and short-term mating, men drop their standards pretty precipitously, whereas women do not. This is one of the main differences in experience, and it causes a lot of the tension in the mating market today, this fact that men tend to mate down for short-term encounters, which is that as an average man, you don't have any access to, the most high quality and most attractive and desirable people. But as an average woman, you probably do have access to those individuals as long as it's, no strings attached. Some of those individuals will get lucky and will manage to kind of pull off the heist and end up with, an incredibly desirable celebrity boyfriend or whatever. And that's super cool. Good for them, right? That's awesome. You can go for a guy who's, famous and very good looking and very wealthy. It's a risky strategy because a lot of women will find themselves in the position where it's like, oh, I'm dating up for these short-term encounters, but none of them will commit to me. This is where a lot of the situationship anxiety comes from. It's like, why isn't he ready for a relationship? And they're not necessarily realizing that they're dating out of their league. This is something that's called a failure of mind reading in the literature, is that as a woman, you wouldn't drop your standards completely for a one-night stand. And so when you have one, maybe you're thinking, oh, this guy and I were in the same league, not realizing that a lot of men, maybe even most men, do drop their standards for those sorts of activities.
You do not want to be the first good this woman has ever met in her life, bro. She is going, bro, she gonna destroy you, bro. She gonna mishandle you, bro. You get what I'm saying? All that chaos that she been dealing with, bro. No, bro. You got to realize, is you being a good man, For all the fellas, listen to this. If you know you're a good man, you got to realize you're a patient man. You're an understanding man, right? You got foresight on where you want to take your life, where you see you being at, and all that type of stuff. If a woman ain't never had a good man in her life, bro, she don't understand the vision. She has no foresight. You get what I'm saying? She doesn't have patience. All she knows is combative things. And then she's picked up a lot of trauma that she's not letting go. You get what I'm saying? So all of that balled up into one woman, bro, 9 times out of 10, that woman will destroy you, bro.
One time when I was 21, I was dating a guy, and I asked him one time why he never pulled out a chair for me or opened my car door or really held any door open for me in general. He looked me in my face and said, "You're an adult grown woman with 2 functioning arms. Why would I do that?" I thought that was pretty crazy, pretty rude, pretty disrespectful. Fast forward, I'm 25 years old. I start dating another guy, and I tell him this story to kind of gauge, like, where are you at? If you agree with him, maybe I should rethink some things. But nope, he says, "Oh wow, that's so crazy. Like, how could he do that?" Perfect. 2 months into our relationship, this man has yet to do a single one of those things. So I confront him, and I'm like, "Hey, how come you never do any of these things?" He almost gives me the exact same answer. It's my other ex-boyfriend. I'm staring at him, and I'm just like, I'm waiting for it to click, you know? Like, I'm waiting for him to remember that I've actually, like, come to him before and, like, brought this up as a behavior that I found very disrespectful, and it did not click. I actually had to refresh his memory. And he, like, had no real defense other than I'm an independent woman and I can do things myself, so.
I thought I liked my new while my baby daddy just me. You know what's funny, though? A lot of women who got kids are always talking about how they wouldn't date a man who got kids because they don't want the baby mama drama. But I be thinking about the other side of it. Like, you a baby mama. Do that mean you come with drama, or you one of the good ones and you ain't like the rest of them? I mean, obviously she not. But that's the thing. I feel like a dude who got a kid with a woman, he always got a chance to get his family back at any moment. I actually think the dumbest thing in the world is to be surprised by him out of all people in the world. Because even if she don't got a baby father, she will cheat on you for her ex. It's usually a dude they already know. And it ain't like it would matter if it was a random. You got cheated on either way. But this is the reason why I had to stop dating. It ain't because they cheat. You can always leave them and start over. But imagine when you finally realize that these women could get pregnant and they won't know who the father is because they want to be messy. They single till they married and they gonna date them all. How much you want to bet that woman met this new because she said her baby daddy was so trash and he was so horrible? The same that bring them to you be the same one that take them away. But I wouldn't claim it anyway. Subscribe to my YouTube, Planet Reality.
They want a bad boy. Crazy. They want the rough shit. They want a bad boy. They want a bad boy. If you were to give a percentage of like how many women percentage wise want the rough nigga versus the square nigga, what percentage would you say?
I would say 90%. Let me tell you why. Here's why. Because women, the nature of a woman is that they want a strong, assertive, aggressive motherfucker. But in the black community, because things are so fucked up, they mistake over aggressiveness with being a man, right? Motherfuckers be over aggressive and have no other attribute of what a man is supposed to have. They're not caretakers, they ain't providers. Niggas just be aggressive, right? So a woman wants something that's gonna challenge them. They wanna be able to look at their man, know he'll bite there. I'll bite you, bitch. Bitch, I'll bite you, bitch. What the fuck is you talking about, bitch? I'll choke you, bitch. The fuck is you talking about, bitch? I'll choke you, bitch. I'll spit in your mouth, bitch. I don't know, bitch, bro, no soft ass, Peter roll ass nigga. If a bitch can roll you up like a fruit roll up, she don't want you. She want a nigga gonna grab her by the neck and put a finger in the ass. Come here, bitch. A bitch want a nigga who gonna stick his finger in the ass and then lick it. That's what a bitch want. See, cause listen, don't no bitch respect no nigga who she can talk to any kind of way, even if he ain't doing everything he supposed to be doing. Don't no bitch respect that. You hear me? You know how many bum ass niggas who got bitches who doing everything? No, don't no bitch respect that.
It's hard because when you're perpetually single, everyone tells you how great you are. But it feels really shallow at times, because you're like, if I was so great, you know, like I've been the best man at a wedding, I think 7 times.
Yeah.
Feels like if I was the best man, I'd be the man getting married, you know? Feels like I'm an okay man, you know? So sometimes it's hard to believe that you're somebody's best option when you never have been. Maybe you have been for a season, but for whatever reason, it didn't last. And so at the end of the day, I have to believe, yeah, I am going to be somebody's absolute dream guy. I'm going to be the answer to their prayers. I'm going to be everything they've ever wanted. And when you've faced a lot of rejection, it's hard to believe that. Yeah, you know?
Are men and women different by nature, or are we simply taught to be different by society? Or are masculinity and femininity inherent traits unique to each sex, or are they simply social constructs? Simone de Beauvoir, one of the most famous feminist thinkers, once famously wrote, "One is not born, but rather becomes a woman." Her argument suggested that womanhood is not grounded in biology, but rather shaped by cultural expectations, that the patriarchal society teaches females what it means to be a woman, and we behave accordingly. Feminists today extend this idea even further in saying that if society treated men and women exactly the same, meaningful differences between the sexes would largely disappear. But when we look at the most secular and gender egalitarian societies in today's world, we do not see this playing out the way that feminists think that it would. In Nordic countries like Sweden, which rank top globally for gender equality, men and women still cluster strongly in different fields. This phenomenon is often called the gender equality paradox. The more egalitarian a society, the more pronounced certain occupational differences remain the same. Women overwhelmingly gravitate towards more people-oriented fields such as healthcare, education, and social work, while men continue to dominate fields like engineering, technology, construction, and manual trades. Even after decades of equal policies and access, these patterns still remain. Why? Because masculinity and femininity are not arbitrary labels given by culture. They reflect biological realities. Because men have higher levels of testosterone and generally have larger physical frames, they naturally tend towards building, risk-taking, and physical labor. Women, on the other hand, with higher estrogen levels and the unique capacity to conceive, carry, birth, and nourish children, are naturally oriented towards nurturing and relational roles. These patterns persist across cultures even when we remove structural barriers. So no, men and women are not interchangeable. No amount of policy or cultural engineering can erase God-given design written in our bodies. We were intentionally created differently with different strengths and different inclinations. And it's not in denying those differences, but rather recognizing and embracing them that we can actually begin to flourish as individuals and society again.
And, you know, modern women continue to say, you know, why is this guy not asking me out? Why won't this guy shoot his shot? Why is this guy seeing me, staring at me, but he's hesitating? I mean, at some point in time, maybe you should realize what the man is going through. Maybe you should realize, you know what? This date really cost him. You know what? You know, he might have to spend a little time. He might have to spend some, well, you know, we both spending time, but, you know, he's got to spend his money on the date. Instead of just saying, well, you know, I spend my money too, in a way, because I use my makeup, and, you know, I go get a spray tan, and one woman said, man, I took a workout class. I was like, girl, that workout class ain't gonna do nothing for nobody. You just started working out. You went to one workout class. You didn't lose no weight. As far as I'm concerned, you wasted, well, I mean, you didn't waste your time, but if you saying that you did it for him, you wasted your time. You need to have been doing that well before you met him, during the time that you met him, and then after the time that you met him. That's how these modern women do. They try to assign stuff to men and say, oh, well, you know, I'm doing it for you, so I got to spend money in a way. No, you're going to spend that money anyway.